Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you. I hope you all had a wonderful Easter break or a good long weekend at least if you're in the UK. Welcome along then to the halfway point of the Monday Night Madness here at round 7 in a very wet Silverstone track for the British Grand Prix. Originally it was Sochi that was supposed to be on the calendar, but it has been replaced by the British Grand Prix for obvious reasons. And a very famous track that I personally have a lot of love for, and I'm excited to commentate this track. And we've got full wet conditions seen by Leppy. Good evening to you. As we watch then, a couple of cars coming out on the tracks, including Brooklyn last time out took pole position for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Had a bit of a messy race, but was able to recover to second place in the Mercedes. Now in the Williams this time around. A tense and intriguing battle in the championship as well, as iLink's Peace leads by 16. 16? Is my maths correct? I think it's either 16 or 12. It's one of the two. It is indeed 16 points actually that separates iLink's Peace from Dex. I think I said 12 initially, but it is 16 points between iLink's Peace and Dex. And iLink's Peace, the first time in a little bit, I think, out of that Haas. They've got to know that that car, not just in this league, but also the Realistic Racing League that takes place on Saturdays, they're in that car as well. But iLink's Peace finally moves away from that Haas and into the Alfa Romeo. Dex in the Haas, as well as Dixon, who won last time out in the Williams, now moves into the Haas. So we'll see if they can repeat the process there. We've got 17 drivers on the grid, a couple of new faces as well to this league, but we'll get to them in a moment. For now, we watch Brooklyn first on the track then, and let's see what kind of lap they can do in these full wet conditions. What setup changes has drivers made? Well, we have a dry race as well. How much downforce have they decided to put on then, as Brooklyn makes their way through Abbey and in towards the farm. Then we go through they'll go through Village and down the Wellington Straights. Usually would have DRS there, but of course in these conditions, no chance at all. Now through Brooklands we go. Taking it rather neat and steady. You can see them managing the throttle pedal there as they go through Luffield. And into Woodcote we go. Down the back straight, the original pit lane as well, before it was changed. Before heading into Copse Corner. Drop a lot more speed than you would in the dry conditions, obviously. And now through the famous Maggots and Beckett's. And then the right-hand corner of Chapel. Before making their way down the Hanger Straight, another DRS zone if we do get dry conditions, but not here at the moment. It's a long dash. We expect to see many overtakes down here as they head into Stowe. Almost a never-ending right-hander. The car always wants to pull to the left, and then through the Vale chicane, and then through Club after that. And we'll see this first lap time then. Got to be super careful of the curb as well for good measure. And Brooklyn's first lap time is at 1:43 flats then. Next one then will be Kidd for the Alpha Tauri. Goes quicker by about a second, 1.3 seconds. One of the two Haas cars is next, and I think that's Dixon. He might have invalidated actually on their first run. Pimis has gone second fastest, followed by Dex, who goes fourth fastest. Next up is Twisted Symmetry, formerly Twisted Science, but name change as the slowest time at the moment in the other Williams. And Squiddly Diddly, with a very catchy name, goes quickest for 1:41.2 by half a second. Here comes Sharvey, another new name as well, who's invalidated. Should also mention no Red Bulls in this session as well. Only the one Mercedes, so won't be just domination. It won't be a domination in the top tier car. Here's the Aston Martin of Leppy. Who's that that's improved? That's Cookie and the other McLaren who's gone second fastest now. 4 tenths behind their teammate for this week. Leppy then through Stowe. Nice helmet as well. Goes nicely with the Aston Martin actually. Whether that's intentional or not quite sure. Either way, very tidy lap at the moment. You can see them fighting the car. They can't get to full power until they straighten the car out. And it's 4th fastest for Leppy. Dixon invalidates again. Xavi then. This one will be an intriguing time. Of course, this is the best performing car we've got on the grid at the moment. Because the 2 Red Bulls are not there, but that's too wide for Xavi. They're going to lose time as a result. Almost had to go onto the grass there in the process. So there's a bit more time, I think, for Xavi to find. We've got 11 minutes, so they've got plenty of time to find it. I wonder how many laps they were all fueled for. Are they doing just 1 lap to get the latest car, or do they want a few laps just to explore? I think some drivers are having more laps. Dixon is one of the examples, but Xavi, despite going off the track, going onto the grass, goes quickest into the 1 minute 40s. 3 tenths clear then of Squiddly Diddly. Jay Hartnell for Ferrari, making their way tentatively through, but loses the back end. That's the danger in these conditions. It's a 1:41.7, still a decent time, but still lost a bit of time in the final corner at the end there. As someone's gone off the track, or well, just getting out of the way. That is, well, that's Pimis. They have had a moment, because you can see there's no front wing. The car 26, and Pimis will be returning into the pits as they let the cars go through. Dixon again is invalidated. Not a good run so far. And JB Bowie, who's having their first appearance, unfortunately invalidating right in towards turn 1, I think. So not going so well. Milius invalidating their lap as well. Here is the championship leader then, Eiling's Peace. Will be relieved just to get out of that house for a week or so, as they make their way down then. In the new Alfa Romeo, let's see where they can go in a much more competitive car compared to the Haas. Although they've done wonders with that car at the moment. They've been in it for the majority of the season, and Eiling's Peace won't be doing much on this one because they ran a little bit too wide through Copse Corner. As Xavi improves, and that's a 1:40 flat. Should also mention Kidd as well, went second fastest as well, but Xavi finding even more time. We're into 1 minute 39s now. Jay Hartnell's invalidated again. That's Cookie, just going slow there. Kidd is invalidated. So it looks like a lot of these drivers are fueling for more than 1 lap, which is good to see. Brooklyn not expecting anything this quali. We'll see what happens. We only need 2 drivers to go from this session. Mason making their way onto the track. We have obviously not seen Bowles out on track yet. Dixon returning back out onto the track after validating their first couple of runs, and Dixon has just confirmed it is a dry race. Thank you very much and good evening to you. Appreciate that. As Squiddly Diddly looks like they're prepping intermediate tyres. Do they think it's ready for them? We'll see. Who should we keep on board with? Let's watch then the... Well, I was going to say, keep an eye on Milius. Milius has done exactly what Xavi did on their first run. That's go wide and onto the grass through the Chapel Corner. The Chapel Corner, I should say. Through Stowe they go. Of course, this is home race really for Aston Martin, because their actual team base is basically the opposite end of the road for Aston Martin. Bit of a a touch and go field for Melios, who goes 9th fastest but went very wide through the final corner and has gone off. Oh, and that's a spin as well. Is that going in the barrier? It did go in the barrier, but thankfully it's front wing only, not the suspension. So lucky escape by Melios at the moment. Meanwhile, J-Luke has gone 2nd fastest, just pipping their teammates to that position. Link's Peace about to get their first lap time on the board, and again through that Vale chicane they're struggling for rear grip and just getting the power down. Link's Peace 11th fastest at the moment, Haytham's 12th, Dex in 13th, Brooklyn's slowest time at the moment. JB Bowie gets a time on the board, but only good enough for 14th. Like I mentioned, we only need 2 drivers gone, and so far it's Dixon who's about to start a lap again, as well as Bells, who we haven't seen yet do a lap. And Squiddly Diddly is trying the intermediates, which will be intriguing. I kind of want to keep an eye on this one and see what they can do, what kind of pace they got. Is it in a position where we're in for intermediates and it'll be quicker? We'll see. Dixon, of course, last week's race winner. (31-1). Yellow flags are just for letting drivers through. Dixon takes a wide entry through Luffield. So far, pretty good at the moment. Now then through Cops Corner. Oh, and that's going to the wall. And another lucky escape there. Dixon just struggling there with rear grip. As soon as he tried to turn it into Cops Corner, just did not work at all. And Dixon on the back foot at the moment, it seems. Now let's keep an eye on Squiddly Diddly here, who's trying out the intermediates. Just struggling as a fault for grip. I think that's a pretty early call here by Diddly. They got nothing to lose realistically, but I don't think they've got grip. They're down 0.6 of a second, so they're not finding grip at all. Got a bit of traffic as well. The AlphaTauri of J-Luke as well. It looks like an absolute handful here for Squiddly Diddly. They can't even get the power down fully without having a bit of oversteer just down the back straight. They're so far navigating through the corners, but not really finding much time. So who was that just moved up? Didn't see who it was. I think it was Bal. Yeah, Bal's going 4th fastest in the Alpine. That pushes Brooklyn into the drop zone. What's intriguing as well is Link's Peace, despite being in a stronger car this week, behind the house of Dex as well. In 14th, could be at risk as well if the bottom 3 improve. Squiddly Diddly then. Let's see what this time is. As they lose the car again through Vale and Club, and it's not improvement. They're down 2.5 seconds on their best time at the moment. Pimis meanwhile finding 3/10 on this lap. Dixon's gone back into the pits. Nervy times for the Haas driver. Be a huge shock if Dixon exits out of Q1 early. You can see Twisted Symmetry is prepping intermediate tyres, but from what we've seen, it's not worth it at all. We've got a yellow flag for one of the AlphaTauris. Pimis improves and remains 8th. Who was that? That's the AlphaTauri of Kid who had a yellow flag. Now, is there front wing damage? Don't know. I think they just had a spin. They're out of fuel, obviously, so not sure if they've got another lap in them. Dixon saving their best for the last lap. We'll see. Let's hope it is, because at the moment they've got no time on the board. You see Link's Peace and Brooklyn out as well. They've got to come out, obviously, because they're in massive danger. I wonder if Dex, who's in 6 laps on those full wet tyres and finding more time still regardless. 3/10 up in the middle sector. sometimes it's actually better to do more laps on one set of tyres in these wet conditions, because the tyres will rubber into the wet conditions better than using a new pair of wet tyres. Dex though, again, little wobble through Vale, they go wide, but moves up to 11th fastest, but lost a lot of time as Xavi improves by a small bit to improve on their quickest time at the moment. They should be safely through. This is Symmetry out as well. Haytham comes into the pits. We'll see if that 142 flat is enough to get them through. You can actually see such a small margin between 11th downwards as well. It's half a second between most of them. So let's see what they can do. So far it's Brooklyn and Dixon who are in the drop zone. Squiddly Diddly, fair play to them, still trying the intermediate tyres out. I wonder if they are finding more time on these. We'll watch them in a moment. Let's go on board then with who's first then. So it's Dixon first. It'll be ILXP and Brooklyn pretty close to each other. Kidd has retired, but they're in the pit lane, so it's fine. It's not a crash, so all is fine. Keep an eye on Squiddly Diddly as well. Let's see if they improve like 141.2 on those inters. They might have found enough time. It's through Luffield and Woodcut we go. Dixon approaching Cops Corner. This is where they struggled before. Squiddly Diddly just coming through the start-finish line. They didn't improve, so I think those inters are still not the right time yet. J. Luke has retired. They're in the pits, of course, as is Dex. So all fine, and Dixon's kept it all on the track so far. Hasn't got a lap time on the board yet. 1:13.2 for the middle sector. Alex Peace could be at risk here, the championship leader. So we'll see. Dixon then makes their way through Stowe Corner. Now this Vale chicane, this is where a number of drivers have struggled, as Dixon got a good enough traction to stick through. That looks good. Very nicely managed. Goes full fastest then. That puts ILXP in danger. Can they improve and get through? Only just goes 15th fastest. Brooklyn then next across the line has found time, but still remains in 16th place. Now if they've got enough fuel, can they do back-to-back laps and try and get through? Twisted Symmetry then. It's the two Williams at the moment at risk. And Twisted Symmetry, this will be their final attempt then. Can they make it into Q3? The answer is no. They're the first to go. And now the question is, who will be joining them? Will it be ILXP, who could be going on another lap, or could it be Brooklyn? They're both not improving on this run at the moment, but they've both got enough fuel to do one more lap, it seems. Squiddly Diddly, who spins around, and I think those intermediates, I think that's confirmation they don't have a lot of grip in them. Xavi then has found even more might have found even more time on this lap, and we could go into the 1:39s. Let's see. Yes, we do, by 0.3 of a second. So 1:39.7 for them as well. So this is not going anywhere. The main one to watch is Brooklyn, who's invalidated, and that is Brooklyn over and out then. It's the two Williams we're going to lose from this session, because Brooklyn's invalidated, so no improvement there. Twisted Symmetry will join them, of course, so ILXP is safely through. Let's watch JB Bowie improves. They go up to 12th fastest. Pretty decent stuff from them. ILXP in the pits. Brooklyn trying to keep out of the way of the Alpine of Plymouth, who's going to be making their way into the pits anyways. And Brooklyn is going to go to the line anyways. And as a result of that then, the two Williams we lose as Brooklyn spins in the final corner. But I think these conditions are a sign of more incidents to come then. Surprised no one did crash in that Q1 session. Most people got away with just front wing damage at worst. But either way, Brooklyn's car appears to be stuck, by the way. But we'll be through anyways. Let's see. But it's Xavi, though, with the quickest time by 0.6 of a second. That's for the show. we like a little what's the word? Spectatorship. Is that the right word? Someone can correct me. Either way, though, Xavi with the quickest time at the moment from Bells in the Alpine. J-Luke and AlphaTauri. Dixon did actually manage to get a lap in at the last minute. They made it count. Squiddly Diddly, I think, proved it will still be wet conditions. As it's the two Williams that go then from the session. Brooklyn ahead of their teammate Twisted Symmetry. As we head then into Q2, where we'll lose 5 more drivers, and I imagine with these conditions we could have even more mistakes and more surprises to come. Let's see where we're looking at. Evening all Bowie for president. Hold on a minute. I didn't realise. I did always see Bowie as a maybe Bowie has a politician side to him. I don't know. Good evening to you. Q2 in the Alpha, not bad at all. Haas number 1, Williams in the mud. Didn't Williams win last week, I seem to recall? God damn it. I don't know. Gained 7 tenths and went up 1 place. Yeah, I think it's one of those things in these conditions. You can find a lot of time, but equally so, I suppose, can a lot of people as well in one go. As Q2 gets underway. And saving your pace for the race. That's probably where the points are scored, isn't it? So that's all fine. Right then, drivers are coming out onto the track early, and it's Dixon out first in the Haas. Let's see where they can elevate themselves up to. And we've got the Mercedes of Xavi, who went quickest in Q1. We've got one of the Alpines out, that's Pimis. Usually Bells comes out later in the race. Aston Martin and Emilio's out as well, followed by Dex as well. So we've got 2 Haas cars out. The AlphaTauri, one of the 2 AlphaTauris making their way out. One of the Ferraris coming out as well. And the other Aston Martin of Leppi making their way onto the track as well. So who's like who could be in danger here? As one of the Mercedes, have they spun or just let themselves go? Well, they've remained stationary. Now, what has happened to Xavi's Mercedes? They are stuck there for the moment. If they're stuck for too long, they'll be disqualified, and that's exactly what's happened. So Xavi's gone, and the favourite from Q1 is over and out. I'm not sure what happens. They parked up into Woodcote, and they'll be disqualified. So they'll start last, either 15th. I'll start 15th in this race then. The favourite for pole position's gone then, so that blows qualifying slightly wide open, really. Well, there goes one. We need 4 more to join them. Not quite sure what happened to Xavi. We'll have a look and see later on, as Dixon then starting to make their way for their first flying lap. They struggled to get consistent laps in, probably just to get a feel of the car they were working with. But they got a good lap on the last lap. Let's see where they can go in this Q2 session. Powering their way down the Wellington Straight, a 31.6 then for the first sector. Heading into Brooklands. The left-hand turn of Luffield. We've seen that Dixon likes to take a wider line through there. That helps with rotating the car. Does go slightly wide through Luffield, but all fine. And then they take the shortest distance through Woodcote as well. As they head into Cops Corner, they struggled here for rear grip last time, and They slightly go off the track. All four wheels were off the white line, but game didn't invalidate it, which is always good. Now through Maggots and Beckett's and then Chapel. And down they go then. Into the hangar straight, down the tunnel. Or through under the bridge, sorry. That's a funny looking tunnel. It's a bridge. Now through Copse Corner. Main overtaking opportunity for the race, we imagine. Now through what has been in qualifying so far the most challenging couple of corners. The Vale chicane, that's very wide. Well, not very wide, but a little bit wide. A 141 at 6 then. Not too bad at all. But Pimes immediately beats that by 0.3 of a second. Dex will be the next one to cross the line in the second half. Got 1.1 seconds down on their teammate. J. Luke is about to start their lap, and I believe it will be one of the Aston Martins. I believe it will be Melios to collect their lap. We're on board with the AlphaTauri of Kidd. Melios with the slowest time at the moment. I think they might have backed off. And a bit of a hesitant exit out of Vale by Kidd here. And goes fourth fastest of a 1:43.2. That is the Aston Martin of Melios. That's through Abbey, I think. The Abbey corner. And Melios has kept it on all four wheels okay. That's of course, as I mentioned, in these conditions, it's easily done. Jay Hartnell has, I think, had a moment in the final corner, and that's of course not always the most ideal place. And Cookie has gone quickest then for 1:41.2. Good luck from them. Ilinks Peace coming out onto the track. Jay Hartnell's invalidated immediately. And J. Luke has lost their front wing, so dramas all around, really. J. Luke will be back into the pits very quickly then. Let's watch Squidly Diddly. Went quickest at one point. As Melios... Oh, Melios is retired. That's out of... and there's our first the first incident then. The strange place to do it. It's down the old pit straight. I wonder if they lost it through like Woodcut or somewhere. It just went all down. Intriguing there. Back on board then with Squidly Diddly. That's going well off the track there. And Squidly Diddly, I'm not sure what they're doing all the way there, but they've just invalidated for their troubles. So they've got to go again. Jay Hartnell, we've already mentioned them. Leffy will be in the pits. Here's Bells. Reserving once again. This time in the Alpine. For me, it's just cars. It's just cars driving. No drivers, just air pushing the pedals and the steering. Really? Oh. Invisible Boy decided he wanted to race. Technology these days, you don't need drivers anymore. The cars can do it themselves. Cookie going quicker with a 1:40.7. We saw Xavi dipping into the 1:39s for that Mercedes. Bell's going second fastest by half a tenth back as a result of that. Right, Leppy's going again. We've got a 31.6 for the first sector. Yeah, could you imagine a world where technology in the future, we don't end up having drivers anymore? We just have the cars driving themselves? I don't know if I'd like that or not, to be honest, actually. I hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope technology doesn't advance that far ahead. Leppy then very calmly going through Copse Corner. Goes a bit wide through Maggots, and as a result of that, won't get the best exit through Beckett's either. And that's the problem, when you get one corner wrong on this track, you mess up not just that corner, you mess up the other few corners after that as well, and that costs you a lot of time here. Leppy, apologies, struggling with understeer, it looks like. Let's see what Leppy then, their lap time will be as they tiptoe their way through Vale and Club. Gets it all nicely through and goes third fastest. Just a 4 tenths back from the quickest lap time at the moment. So is it Cookie then who will be the favourite for qualifying? We'll see. Their teammate is coming through the line, but they've been validated. Jay Hartnell now goes fast. There's a 140.3. Good form they're showing at this moment in time. Link's Peace then coming through. Bowles now goes quicker by a tenth of a second. It's all starting to heat up now. Now that the Mercedes has been ruled out of contention, we haven't actually seen what's happened with them. I'll try and have a look. I can open up Discord. That would be helpful. And meanwhile, the championship leader making their way through. As we got yellow flags, but not really making a difference. Alex Peace moves into the top 10. Ahead then. As Ridley Diddley going once again. No time on the board yet, neither is Haytham in the sister Ferrari. J-Luke, after losing their front wing, is starting their lap again. That's Bowles spinning in the Alpine there. You just saw them through Woodcut. So even some of the most talented and skilled drivers here making mistakes. It's easily done in these conditions, so nothing to be ashamed of at all. Haytham then makes their way through Chapel. Very neat and tidy there actually, through that few couple of corners. But Milios going out here. Probably. Still haven't had 4 times on the board yet. Well, we've seen one there. Squiddly Diddley moving into 5th place. So they're safely through, so that means Milios will be out of the session. Well, they're out anyways, but either way, won't make it through. And Haytham moves into the top 10, pushes Dex then into the bottom 5. J-Luke then looks good in Q1. Let's see what they can do. Can they move that AlphaTauri into Q3 along with a teammate Kid at the moment? Well, not on this occasion because they've just invalidated on the exit of Stowe. Never nice to do it in the final few corners, but J-Luke will have to go again. JB Bowie squirming across the exit of Club there and is only good enough for 12th at the moment, so we know Xavi and Milius are going from the session. At the moment it's Dex who's just invalidated on their latest run, along with JB Bowie and J-Luke. They'll be next ones to go. Haytham invalidating. Dixon is going for another run, and I think wisely so. They're not safely through, I don't think. Leppy's out again. As Skrilly Diddley makes their way into the pits. Bowles, I think Bowles has backed off from their lap. So let's go back on board then with J-Luke, the only driver yet to put a time on the board. Had a bit of a messy qualifying so far for them, but they've shown pretty good pace at the moment, but just needs to get a lap on the board first, and not got a lot of time to do so. We've got 2.5 minutes to go. At the moment they're at risk of going out of this qualifying session, and with Dex and JB Bowie, unless they can hook a better lap in together. JB Bowie is right behind them as well. But I think if they pit now, they might not be able to get another run in with the time left. And through we go. Oh, and J-Luke again invalidating. That's through Vale now. J-Luke's just not able to get a time on the board at the moment, which is a shame for them. Here comes JB Bowie then, moves up to 11th place then, so on the fringes of the elimination bracket, but still needs to find about half a second to beat that time of Haytham. But Haytham is improving as well. You've just seen that, improving by 0.2 of a second. Alex Peace could be in danger as well. They're out on track as well. Pimis as well. So some drivers could still be at risk. Jay Luke, have they got any more fuel in to do one more lap? I think they have, because they're going again. Hayton was founding half a second so far in the middle sector. You can find big lumps of time here if you do more laps in these conditions. And Hayton having to make sure they lift off the throttle nicely so they don't go off the track. He almost did. They could have cost them their lap there. This is a much more improved lap there by Hayton. Let's see. As Hayton crosses the line, they do improve, but lost time in the final sector. They remain in 10th place. And they've just invalidated their next run, and with 50 seconds to go, that 1:41.5 will be their best time, I think. As Bowles goes quicker, we're back into the 1:39s again. That, meanwhile, their teammate Primus has spun, so they won't improve as well. Right then, Ilinks Peace letting their teammate go. Teammate in 12th at the moment. Just been knocked back by Dex, actually. Now, can JB Bowie get into the top 10? They're still off the fringes. The 1:41.9. They need another 4/10 of a second. Dex then has invalidated. Will they get to the checkered flag in time to get one more run in here? Let's see. It's going to be nip and tuck. The answer is no. So Dex will be out of this session. The driver in second place in championship is gone. The big worry though is Jay Luke, who I think invalidated again actually. They might have done, I can't remember. Didn't see them, whether they got another lap in. Maybe, meanwhile, JB Bowie is finding 3/10 in the first sector. Imagine Haytham is very worried here. As Pimmy across the line there safely through. So, all eyes really are on Jay Luke here, as well as JB Bowie. Haytham is in the pits, of course, so they won't pit again. Ilinks Peace, are they going to improve? So far they're down on the time at the moment. They're actually behind their teammate for good measure, but they're trying to improve as well. J-League 1:12.7, they're showing purple at the moment, but can J-League keep this together? It's the final sector they've struggled on so far. They just need to hook it all together nicely and get a lap on. Will it be good enough? Can they complete this lap? They're gonna. I think it looks all good so far. And J Luke, oh, right at the last corner, J Luke through Club's corner. They've gone. Going to be fuming. And JB Bowie makes it through at the expense of Haytham, and makes it through as a result. JB Bowie into Q3 along with her teammate Ilinks Peace, but Haytham goes out. Dex goes out in 12th, Melios in 13th, and J Luke, who invalidated right at the end after what looked like to be a pretty good lap, goes out as well. They will be fuming. What a shame for them. That's a big shocker, because J Luke looked really good in pace. The even bigger shot was Charvey as well. Charvey getting a disqualification for just sitting on the track. Not sure what happened. Imagine there might have been an issue. Charvey will start in 15th, J Luke in 14th, Melios, who crashed, will start 13th, Dex in 12th, and Haytham in 11th then. There are your 5 drivers that go. That's a real frustrating time for them. Bowie for President, Q3 and an Alpha. Not bad at all. And look at that. That 4/100ths of a second. A further 400 separating between the two Alphas and Haytham as well. So, Works Ferrari beaten by the customer Ferraris teams. J Luke is understandably unhappy, but unfortunately they put all 4 wheels off the track, and can't really complain about that, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. Dixon won't be out in Q3 for a little while, no worries. We'll see them whether their last lap tricks will work. as we start to see drivers out, and with Xavi and J-Luke gone, it'll be a real fight here for who's going to get pole position. Pretty close between them. Right. Here's some info, Gather. I'm 20 points off the championship lead. Not going to be in the fight near the end, but I'm glad to be there now. Ah, that's not bad at all. Weren't you... And you were 8th originally, weren't you? Oh, not 8th, sorry. Because you were in the Mercedes last week, you were pretty low in the championship, weren't you? But that's a really big improvement. Only be 20 points off the lead as well. That's really impressive. There's Squiddly Diddly squirming for grip there. Dixon finished this fourth monster of the day. Oh my goodness. Note to self, don't ever drink that much caffeine in one day. Oh, I can barely drink one, let alone 4. 17th, now 4th, wow. Big jump from second, well, big jump there for sure after one race. Finishing second, of course, last week in Saudi Arabia, as I mentioned. Yeah, what a jump, and that's how one race can make such a difference. And as I'll read that comment in a second, Adam, as we watch Squiddly Diddly then start their first lap then. Number of drivers in the pits already still. We've got 5 drivers out on track. Rest in the pits for the moment. So Squiddly Diddly, we'll see what their first lap time will be. Dying, so my Haas will be absolutely bouncing in this session. Oh boy. Trying to bring the pulsing effect to the F1 video game early, it seems. There's Diddly then. We're 31.4 for the first sector. Now through Luffield again. That was a much wider line than what Dixon took. See how many different styles of racecraft we see. We see JB Bowie is considering intermediates. That's a bold gamble. We've seen that not pay off before. You can see how much Squiddly had to lift off there into Copse Corner just to keep it all neat and tidy. Through Maggots and Beckett's we go, and through the chapel. Right, so they make their way down the Hanger Straight then. The very famous Hanger Straight. Now through Copse Corner. How much throttle can they take? They give about car's width to keep on the track there. And through Club Corner, oh sorry, the Vale Chicane goes a bit wide. And the first corner there. And now through Club, and there's our first lap time. It's a 1:41.3. Immediately beaten by Kidwell, 1:40.9. Next then Jay Hartnell, who looks very good in Q2. What will their first time to run be? It's a 1:41 flat at the moment. Next across the line will be the Aston Martin of Leppy. Another quick driver as per usual. Leppy then very precise there through Vale. A bit of oversteer, the rear tyres were giving out, but still good enough for the quickest time at the moment, a 1:40.8 for them. And the drivers seems to be, looks like they're going to leave their laps late then. Primus then for Alpine. There's also one of the, I think Squiddly Diddly's going again. We see Cookies out as well. It's really difficult to put a pin on who will take pole position, to be honest. They're all, see the gaps between first and fourth at the moment is half a second, and that will continue to improve in this next 6.5 minutes then. Primus then looks good so far. Brakes early to get the turn in. Runs over the curb slightly through Vale. There's Primus then to cross the line with a 1:41.1, goes 4th fastest then. Meanwhile, Squidly Diddly's improved, goes 2nd fastest. And looks like Kid and Jay Hartnell were only fueled for 1 lap then. Cookie then, on their first attempt then. Of course we know that Dixon won't be out till later on. The Alfa Romeo of one of the Alphas actually making their way. That will be iLink's piece because JB Bowie is still in the pits. And they're still considering those intermediate tyres. Is JB Bowie going to gamble on them? I don't think the conditions are right for them, but got nothing to lose, I guess. Yellow flag out. That's just drivers slowing down, I think. And this might have run out of fuel. There's Cookie then. Will blast past the Alpine and turn into Copse Corner. Very nice there. Good scrub of speed. And now through Maggots and Beckett. Looks super controlled at the moment from Cookie. Looks super planted. They really are adept with these conditions. Just looks really well controlled. We'll see if I speak too soon. At the moment, nicely done. That's too wide though, but gets away with it. So that's saving fortune there for Cookie. Sometimes the game doesn't think you might have lost time through that, and so doesn't register it. But Cookie, a 1:41.1 with the 5th fastest time. It looked planted, but not quick enough for pole position time. Kid as well, also considering the intermediate tyres. Squidly Diddly is going once again. Keep an eye on them in a moment. Is iLink's piece. Where can they get up to as well? They'll be happy with this qualifying result regardless, because Dex was eliminated in Q2, and it gives iLink's piece an advantage in terms of track position. So wherever they can start now will be advantageous. The higher up they can go, the better it will be for them. And in a much stronger car as well compared to Dex. Dex in the Haas. iLink's piece in the Alfa Romeo. Looks good for them as well. JB Barry's changed their mind. They've gone onto the wet tyres. I think Kid as well has considered doing the same. As iLink's piece of 31.6. There's a couple of attempts out from what we've seen for the fastest lap so far, I think. So I don't think, based on that first sector, this is going to be a pole position worthy time, but unless iLink's piece has 2 blistering middle and final sectors potentially. Through Copse they go. And now all the drivers that haven't set a lap are out as well. Dixon Bells and JB Bowie. They've left it late, but that's their usual tactic, I think. Squidly Diddly now has taken the fastest lap time. A 1:40.7 then is the margin. It's still not as quick as what we've seen. Quickest lap time so far we've had is a 1:39.7. So we're about a full second off from that just yet. iLink's piece then. How close can they get to those times at the moment? With the Alfa Romeo, they cross the line. It's the slowest time at the moment. As we watch then, Bowles, we've been quite quiet about them, but they've looked good as well. Is Cookie considering the intermediate tyres now? Oh, and Bowles with a slip through Village there. They lost time by that slip. It's a 31.8. That's the worry. By leaving it so late, you open yourself up to these kind of errors. And if you can't get a good lap in that time, that can cost you. Bells then, not on course for a quick lap then. Let's see then, we'll go on board then with JB Bowie's invalidated. Jay Hartnell has found time in the middle sector. and is good enough for pole position. Snatches it away then, so we're now 140.4, so a 3 tenths advantage then for Jay Hartnell. The Ferrari looking good. It's Cookie on the wet tyres as well. Bowles then out to come across. Like I mentioned, this probably won't be the quickest lap at all, given their mistake through Village. But this is to get another lap. They'll get another opportunity for a lap. We've got 51 seconds left. But that's somehow still the quickest lap. A 140.1. Now, my intrigue here, with that mistake by Bowles, did they inadvertently gain time through there as well? Eiling's piece is not going to improve on that time, so they're 8th at the moment, at worst. Here's JB Bowie. Come across the line with the slowest time at the moment. Dixon then will be next up. Actually, it'll be Leppy, sorry, who's invalidated anyways. So we'll go back on board with Dixon. Checkered flag will be coming out shortly. I wonder though if Bowles did inadvertently gain time by that mistake. We'll see later on, as Dixon now with the second quickest time as the checkered flag comes out, so they can go again. That's a really good time by Dixon at the moment. Checkered flag is out. Cookie has invalidated. Pimis comes into the pits then. So Bowles will be the next one to come across the line, and I think they're improving again. Let's see. I think if they improve on this lap, it won't matter about that spin. And look at that, they're up half a second already. We saw them do a 1:39.7 in Q2. Can they hook it together and get an even quicker lap there? I think this will be rather uncontested. Jay Hartnell's in the pits as well. Deadley's will start in 4th. Jay Hartnell at best will start in 3rd. Kidd in the pits. Cookie in 7th place. Pimis in 8th. Bowles then extends their lead. We've got a 1:39.4 on the grid, and most drivers are in the pits. So at the moment, it looks like Bowles will be on course for pole position. Meanwhile, JB Bowie finding even more time in the middle sector. Where can they lift that Alfa Romeo? They want to be president. Where can they lift it? Can they lift it ahead of the championship leader? Yes, they can. Goes ahead of their teammate, which is good for them. Leppy into the pits then. So Dixon, the only driver to finish a lap, and they're not improving on this run. And I think in that case, Bowles then will start this race from pole position. Dixon enters into the pits, and it's the Alpine then who claims pole position for the British Grand Prix. Great lap by Bowles. Looked almost uncontested. I thought it would be close, but Bowles kind of blew them all out the water, really. And Leppy invalidated all runs except their first one. That's a shame. But 5th place, despite that, is still really good. So, nice job. Solid effort there. I think also a good hand to Dixon as well. Getting 2nd place in the Haas, albeit a second. Look at that, though. Bowles a second clear of the whole field. It was close up until Bowles came along, to be honest. But there's your top 10 then. Bowles from Dixon. There your front row. Jay Hartnell in 3rd. Squidly Diddley in 4th. Leppy in 5th. Kidd in 6th. Cookie in 7th. Pimis in 8th. And then the 2 Alfa Romeos in 9th and 10th. Bowie out qualifying Eiling's piece. Bowles to be demoted to Haas before the race. And I'm assuming you get promoted into the Alpine, right? Right, as we get it underway, well, we'll get underway for the race shortly. Let's put the shameless plug in for the channel. If you're new here and you're enjoying the content, be sure to give the channel a follow. Check out all the socials below. I still think their Instagram is there and it's still not working. Yeah, it is. The Instagram is... Oh! Yeah. Jamie Bowie, the Instagram is still there. What's going on? Where's the official FRL Instagram page? We want to see the gram. But definitely follow the Discord and the TikTok as well. TikTok especially. There's some good content on there. And join the Discord as well if you want to get involved. And as you can see, dry weather for the race. I think someone might have readied up a bit too early. As we get underway then for the formation lap. And because we had wet qualifying session, all drivers will have the free choice of tyres. So that top 10 disadvantage of starting on the tyres, or basically tyres they did in qualifying, are made redundant. And as you can see, Kidd and Pivot have just been disqualified early. So let's go through it then. Bowles on the soft tyres to start with. Dixon in second, medium tyres. Jay Hartnell, medium tyres. Diddley are on the soft tyres. Leppy in fifth on the soft tyres. Kidd on the medium tyres. Cookie in 7th on the soft tyres. Pimis in 8th on mediums. JB Bowie in 9th on mediums. Ilex Peace 10th on the soft tyres. Haytham in 11th on mediums. Dex in 12th mediums. Milios 13th on mediums. J-Luke in 14th on tyres. And, as Bowles and Dixon get disqualified from the formation lap. Oh dear. Sharvey for the Mercedes on mediums. And then the two Williams of Brooklyn and Twisted Symmetry on the soft tyres. So, right, we missed out what happened with Bowles and Dixon. They ran in, other than they ran into each other. They'll be waiting on the grid for quite a while. That's obviously worrying for those two off the front line. Because Squidly did, he's getting very close to Jay Hartnell there. So, it should be a one-stop strategy. In fact, it definitely will be, unless drivers have significant spins or front wing damages on multiple occasions. You want to make this a one-stop strategy because the pit lane is so long anyways. So you don't want to be in the pit lane for too long. As we make our way onto the grid. But it should be, the plan for the soft runners is to use their pace early. Because when the medium runners pit later on, they'll be on the soft tyres and they'll be the aggressive ones later on. So for the soft runners, it's all about being aggressive early on and then having good defence later on when the soft runners come along. Twisted Symmetry then lines up on the back of the grid alongside their teammates. And once they're all lined up, which they are, you can see the tyre strategies. We are ready to get underway with the race then. As the lights come on then. We are underway then for the British Grand Prix. Looks like a pretty decent start from the top two. In fact, actually one of the McLarens having a decent start as they make their way through Abbey. But it's Bowles who gets a good start. Jay Hartnell up in the second place. As there, down the inside goes one of the McLarens on the Aston Martin of Leppy. Trying to go round the outside there. We've got positions moving all over the place. Sharvey, I think, has gone backwards as well. And there, going round the outside is Diddley on Leppy. Good move there from them. And already, the Williams pair making up moves already. Ilex Peace has dropped to the back of the field. That's disappointment for them. Of course, they were in the top 10. That's hurtful for them. And look at that, Brooklyn already gets a 5th place grid penalty. And that is Kidd then having a spin through Luffield. Not the start they would have wanted. They're trying to go down the inside is Squidly Diddley on Dixon for 3rd place. Dropping backwards already. A number of drivers going wide through the race as well. But Bowles having the perfect start out in front for them. As they're battling away, there is JB Bowie and Cookie as well. Around the chapel goes the McLaren, and now it's a drag race down the back straights here. And look, there is that's Melios trying to have a look as well, and might have a look round the outside of Stowe. Yes, they do. Opportunistic move there, but he's going to have the door slammed shut, presumably. But Melios has the grip to make it work, and up into 7th place. JB Bowie losing a few positions then as a result, but it's Bowles who leads by 2 seconds from Jay Hartnell. followed by Dixon. Then comes Squiddly Diddly. Leffy in 5th as J-Luke gets ahead of Dex there for 9th place at the moment. But Dex might come back on the AlphaTauri. The answer is no, and might be under pressure from Brooklyn, who you saw there got a 5-place grid penalty. Kid is into the pits for presumably that spin as Irlink's piece duels away there with Shavi, and Shavi's got ahead of Pimis as well. Not a great start for Pimis in this race as well, as they're all getting close to each other, but Bowser's absolutely gunning it at the front, as they should be, given they're starting on the soft tyres. A lot of action already in this first stage of the race. I think we might have some more here. This is Irlink's piece going wheel to wheel with Haytham. Can't really dive their way through Cops Corner, unfortunately. They both ended up actually going off the track in doing so. Kid on the hard tyres already. Leppy then is right on the back of Squiddly Diddly. Yes, and Martin wants to try have their luck on the McLaren, and so far just a little too far back. JB Bowie is able to keep J-Luke at bay for a little bit of time, but down the inside goes the AlphaTauri into the Vale chicane. And can they try a move around the outside of Club Corner here? The answer is no. JB Barrier slams the jaw, but now they'll go wheel to wheel in towards Abbey here. And I think J-Luke has got the move done. They might have got a warning for going off the track like that. And can JB Barry respond into Farm? I was trying to remember the corner name actually. The answer is no though. And now with DRS enabled as well, will this help others? You can see there Cookie is having a look at Leppy. Leppy is having a look at Squiddly Diddly as well. So Aston Martin in a McLaren sandwich at the moment. Dixon having a look there. Down the inside into Luffield goes Cookie. And Cookie, oh, and that's contact. And that is Cookie out of this race. Nip and tuck between them. And I think we've got a safety car deployed. Or a virtual safety car, one of the two. Don't know which one it is. I think it's a virtual safety car. You can see the error message has come up, but I think it's a virtual safety car. They weren't giving each other all the space in the world. So I think Cookie went down the inside to Luffield. We'll obviously see if they report it. We'll see what the stewards say. But we've got a virtual safety car out now. Will anybody take the opportunity to make an early pit stop here? I think it's a little too early to be making one, even for the soft runners. Meanwhile, you can see there JB Bowie is into the pits. That's an early call for them. Irlink's piece also. Intriguing there. Now, is this for front wing damage? A bit early to be making a pit stop, especially on the medium tyres. So I presume it's front wing damage. Let's see. No, this is on go the hard compound tyres. Double stack actually for both Alfa Romeos actually. Haytham gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. We are back under racing then. Not so sure that was the right decision there by JB. You don't really want to be on the hard tyres in this race, but it may be taking advantage of a cheap pit stop. Worth a try for JB Bowie. They were slightly going backwards in the Alfa Romeo, so let's see what it does for them. It's now the two Aston Martins are almost nip and tuck with each other. Emilio's almost going to have DRS on Leppy. Dixon keeping tabs on Jay Hartnell. Ferrari works car against the Ferrari customer powered car. Twisted Symmetry, meanwhile, has got ahead of their teammate. That's a pretty solid move, actually. That was through Maggotts and Beckett's, but I think now Brooklyn can have a much better exit. And you can see they've both got DRS on each other. And Brooklyn are going to come straight back up the inside. Love to see the two Williams drivers dueling. I know they're not technically teammates. Changes each week, but they're still going away. Look at this. This is great racing between them. Twisted Symmetry going to try and dive down the inside as well. Brooklyn not giving this one up, but the Mercedes in the background will be loving this as well. And in fact, actually, the Mercedes almost trying to capitalise on that incident, or that their battle, wasn't able to do so. And it's Twisted Symmetry now up into 9th, Brooklyn down into 10th place. And Xavi going to try and capitalise, trying to go around the outside actually of Village. Now down the Wellington straight they go. Brooklyn's back ahead. Look at the speed of that Mercedes though. Just almost laughing at the speed there of the Williams. And even might take both of them here. Might have to go the long way round the outside of Luffield. They're not giving much space there. But Xavi finds a way through. Great pass there from the Mercedes driver. They were disqualified from qualifying. But they made a great overtaking move there. Xavi up into 9th place. That was awesome there from the Mercedes driver. Took 2 in 1. Now Dixon, see their DRS enabled, so they're closing in on the Ferrari, but will run out of room there. This is J. Luke going down the inside of Melios then. There was a little bit of contact actually, and good save there by J. Luke, as Pal sets another fastest lap of the race. We haven't mentioned them, because they're just so far out in front. J. Luke for the time being having told off against Melios. But the gap between Bells and Jay Hartnell, 7.3 seconds. This is really working out nicely for Bells here. Bells needs to make a good gap here because, of course, they'll be on the medium tyres. Jay Hartnell and Dixon will be on the soft tyres, and they'll be much more aggressive on those fresher, softer tyres towards the end of the set as well. As we watch then, Scribbly Diddley is now going involved in this battle for second, almost can break much later. That is Jay Luke down the inside into Brooklands, makes the move on Melios. Xavi has gone down the inside of Dex, and Dex tried to come back. That is Squiddly Diddley. This is through Copse Corner. They're going to go wheel to wheel. We've seen Verstappen and Hamilton contact there, but Dixon keeps it around, and Dixon's trying to fight this as well, and Dixon has indeed fought this through, and Dixon not making that move easy despite the car they're driving, and a great defensive move there. They weren't giving each other space, and Leppy catches the grass as well. That's stopped them from making any momentous opportunities as well. And Jay Hunt will be happy that Dixon and Squiddly Diddley will be fighting each other. Gives them a bit of breathing room. Meanwhile, Twisted Symmetry has got back ahead of Brooklyn. And there goes the Alpine of Plymouth. Brooklyn trying to fight that round the outside. Just doesn't have the grip to fight against the Alpine. And now it is Plymouth having a look round the outside of Twisted Symmetry actually. And Brooklyn once again is going to try and come back as well. But runs out of road to do so. But might have the grip on those soft tyres. Actually runs to the back of the Alpine here. It's great scrap there between the Williams actually. And Plymouth is right on the tail of the Williams, but I'm sure we'll be making a move shortly through. Meanwhile, these lots staying as they are. So we'll actually cut on board back with this battle between these lot. Brooklyn on a front row seat. We've got a yellow flag for, I think, Haytham. You can see here, Plymouth is going to try and, I think, lunge it down the inside. Oh, Brooklyn! Oh, that was close. Brooklyn just about slowed it down in time. That could have been that could have ended in tears. And Plymouth goes wide through Woodcote as well, and Brooklyn goes straight through as well. That really, it's elbows off here in this race, and that's through Copse Corner, and again, Brooklyn trying to find a way through. We saw they definitely like to find opportunistic overtakes. We saw it in Saudi Arabia. They like to try and find what opportunities they can, but it has cost them before. Remember, they made contact last week in Saudi Arabia with Dixon. They might have been able to win the race had it not been for that. There goes Plymouth down the inside of the Williams once again. Brooklyn trying to fight this one back again, but once again, Plymouth has the inside line and will hold it off. And now, Plymouth will try once again to go after Twisted Symmetry in there as well. Meanwhile, back on board then with the battle at front. Jay Hartnell keeping Dixon, and Squiddly Diddley behind. Meg Leppy and Jay Luke have got within there as well. Jay Hartnell's created almost a DRS train, if you like, but has got enough straight line speed to keep ahead of all of them. This is hurting the soft runners actually. Squiddly Diddley going a little wide through Brooklyn. The soft runners are the big losers here because, of course, they've got to try and pass the medium runners quickly. Round the outside goes the Alpine of Plymouth once again. Twisted Symmetry not giving this one up just yet, but the inside line goes to the Alpine driver. And finally, Plymouth is clear of the two Williams drivers and can now proceed to go chasing after Dex, who's now 5 seconds back. Lost a lot of time fighting the Williams drivers. But hey, places aren't free here. As Dixon, now have they got an opportunity here on Jay Hartnell? Once again, just runs out of road. It's getting closer and closer, but Dixon is just not close enough here. Squiddly Diddly is watching these two as well, as is Leppy behind, and so is Jay Luke. And I imagine Melios will join this battle as well. They're 1.5 seconds further back as well. You can see as well as Squiddly Diddly goes wide there. Unfortunately, Leppy not there to capitalise on it. Jay Hartnell doing a solid defensive job here. The problem is they're holding up everybody else. It's allowing Bowles to get away. Not Jay Hartnell's fault at all. Jay Hartnell's got no right at all to let any of the drivers through. That would almost be like writing mug on your forehead if you did that. Jay Hartnell though going very nicely in that Ferrari. It's great to see. A really talented driver, as is Dixon. And Dixon's realising their efforts will be difficult. Brake button braking. Oh dear. That's worrying for Brooklyn. So they've got a brake pedal issue. Or brake button, whether they're using pad or not. Meanwhile, that's Leppy. They look very close to the back of Squiddly Diddly. They might have found a way through. They haven't. Atom gets a 3-second time penalty. So is Xavi as well in the Mercedes, up to 8th place by the way. Is right in the back of Melios as well for 7th place. How frustrated will Dixon be? Squiddly Diddly's actually dropped out of the fight there. I tell you what, Leppy is right on the back of it. Oof. Runs into the McLaren as well. But I think Leppy finally has got an opportunity here. And Dixon's not so focused on the cars behind now. Squiddly Diddly picks up a 3-second penalty. Can Leppy go down the inside of Brooklyn here? You can see the overspeed here of the Aston Martin. And not much space is given. They go off the track, does the McLaren. And round the outside goes Leppy. And in fact, actually, J-Luke wants a piece of the action as well. But we'll have the door slammed shut on them. I think that would go down as a racing incident if it gets reported there. I think Leppy had enough of their car alongside to have some space to go through as Haytham is out, and we've got a safety car. Safety car deployed for the Ferrari of Haytham. There goes the Aston Martin safety car. Brooklyn. Sorry, not for it. Oh, what was I trying to say? I just saw Brooklyn comment, and I was about to say the corner Brooklyn as Bowles comes into the pits. Haytham actually retired in the Abbey corner. The safety car deployed. That's perfect for Bowles who pits, although they do lose their massive advantage. We just saw that Leppy got a penalty. Someone else did as well. Who else got one as well? Someone else got a drive-through penalty. I need to have a look. Oh, 5 seconds actually for Jay Hartnell, for Leppy, for Xavi, and for Melios. Oh, wow. Melios actually got a 5-second penalty for a collision with Xavi. But that's a huge shame. The big surprise there was Jay Hartnell. Jay Hartnell, with that 5-second penalty, that's hurt them. That's a mistake they did not need to make. So Bowles comes into the pits in the lead of this race. All the medium runners are now on the soft tyres. We'll see what that will do for them. That might play into the hands, actually, given where we are, to the medium runners. Some drivers have lost out, including Jack Bowie. we saw them earlier. They pitted onto the hard tyres. I think they've stayed out on them. Iron Peace has gone for another set of the medium compound tyres. So JV Bowie, of course, now in 9th place, but of course, on the hard tyres, that's not the most ideal tyre to be on. So, let's go through what tyres they are as Kid comes into the pits for a change on to the soft tyres. Let's go through what tyres they're all on then. So, mediums for Bowles, soft tyres for Jay Hartnell and Dixon. Hartnell's got a 5-second penalty. Meanwhile, that's Leppy mediums, Squiddly Diddly mediums, J Luke mediums, Sharvey softs, Dex softs, JB Bowie in the hard tyres, Vivis softs, Twisted Symmetry mediums, Medius on the soft tyres, and a long way back presumably for contact with Sharvey. Brooklyn in 13th mediums, Ironing's Peace 14th on mediums, and Kid, who will come back into this race actually as a result of after their spin earlier, will be in 15th place on the soft tyres. So will just be 2 seconds, I'll be back. Welcome back, and it looks like a number of drivers are back into the pits then. So Jay Hartnell in to presumably serve that 5-second penalty, as is Jay Luke as well. And also JB Bowie as well gets off those soft tyres, but they'll drop right to the back of the field as a result of that. So Bowles will take the lead from Dixon. Dixon now released of that Ferrari. Now they can focus on Bowles. Bowles might be on the medium tyres versus the soft tyres of Dixon, but we've seen, of course, the good pace that the Alpine has shown. We'll see what will happen. Can Dixon close in on Bowles on this second stage of the race? This has actually worked out quite nicely for Dixon. Not only is Jay Hartnell out their way, they've also closed that gap down to Bowles, which was almost about 11 seconds. That's worked out really nicely for them, and especially for the likes of Kid as well, who's joined back into this race. But Jay Hartnell now in 14th place. Just got to do this all over again. We'll see what they do. JB Bowie's in 13th. Actually, both Williams as well, we should mention. They're in the top 10 now. That's worked out quite nicely for them. After starting last but one. Safety car coming in at the end of this lap, so Bowles needs to back the field up. See, they're just weaving there. And Bowles will pick their moment. When will they choose to go? They've got until the start-finish line before they go under green flag racing. Bowles just weaving, maybe trying to catch Dixon off guard here. Leffy's right behind them as well, ready and waiting. If either of them make a mistake here. And I think Bowles now has gone. Bowles now has chosen to go. Dixon's had a decent restart as well. We are back under racing then on lap 13. And Dixon was right on the back of the Alpine this time. Bowles, who had such a comfortable lead out in front, now has got to deal with a very quick Dixon on those soft compound tyres. Leffy is under pressure from Squiddly Diddly as well. Melius has made their way past Twisted Symmetry for 8th place then. No DRS until the end of the second lap after a safety car restart. Bowles then, excuse me, able to keep ahead just for now. Look at Sharvey as well. Sharvey, of course, was disqualified from qualifying, has benefited from the safety car, and is up to 5th at the moment, is right on the back of Squiddly Diddly, and we'll have Meg Liffey as well in contention as well. This is J. Luke and Brooklyn going wheel to wheel down the back straight. J. Luke will have to fight all the way around the outside of Copse Corner. Are they ahead? Brooklyn's going to continue to fight this, but eventually J. Luke gets ahead and onto the soft tyres. And look at Eiling's piece. This is a bold and dangerous move there and goes off the track in order to do so. That might invite their teammate on the sister Alfa Romeo on the soft compound tyres to have a look on the Alfa Romeo here. You can see them closing in at the moment, and Eiling's piece might have to be on the defensive here, but Eiling's piece is trying to go round the outside of the Williams of Brooklyn. Brooklyn's used all their EOS already. Meanwhile, look at this. This is Sharvey and Squiddly Diddly. I'd really like saying that name at the moment, and Squiddly Diddly is trying to come back there and does so. They did have the car on the track, so it's fine. Sharvey is keeping tabs with them. Dex is also, we haven't mentioned them, they're up into 6th place at the moment as a result of all this. Medius gets a 3-second penalty. This works out really nicely here for Dex with 6th place, while Eiling's piece is down in 11th. This has worked out perfectly for them. Here comes the Mercedes. Softer tyres against the medium tyres of Diddley. I'm going to enjoy saying Squiddly Diddley's name for quite a while. I hope they stay in the Monday Night Madness for a bit longer, because that name's got a very good ring to it. But Bowles has actually been able to drop Dixon as well, up to 1.5 seconds between them. So Dixon, I think their opportunity was right at the start, and now it's, I think, dissipated. Leppy's got another 3-second penalty, as you can see the Mercedes maybe trying to find a way around the outside of Chapel, but a much better exit here. And I think this will be a fairly straightforward one. Sharvey going wheel to wheel. It's a drag race down the hanger straight. Has got the inside line for Stowe. Can Squiddly Diddly fight this one back? Looks like they can. They've got the grip. They've got the inside line for the Vale chicane. They're going to have to fight down the inside, but Sharvey slams the door, and Sharvey up into 4th place then for Mercedes, as DRS is finally enabled, so Sharvey could end up being on the defensive as a result of this. Pivis has moved ahead of Dex as well for 6th place. The Alpine's moving very nicely at the moment. Squiddly Diddly, Sharvey goes after the Aston Martin of Leppy for 3rd place. And there's, meanwhile, that's Jay Hartnell going past JB Bowie for 12th place. Jay Hartnell wanted to serve that 5-second penalty in the pit during the safety car. That's what's put them in that position. Melios gets ahead of Dex for 7th place as well. The Haas car unfortunately moving backwards. There is Jay Luke as well, looking to pounce as well. And Dex loses yet another position, and Jay Luke up into 8th place. Meanwhile, we watch then Sharvey. Brooklyn has dropped down into plumb last. Kidd is into 14th, and is after JB Bowie. Bowie's struggling, unfortunately, as well. 2 Williams drivers moving backwards as well. Twisted Symmetry's under pressure from Jay Hartnell. Sharvey is putting pressure on Leppy and gets ahead of Leppy and up into 3rd place. And meanwhile, this is Pimis and Melios then dueling away. So both Aston Martins are losing positions, unfortunately for them. In fact, all of the Mercedes-powered cars are going backwards, I'm afraid, as Sharvey sets the fastest of the race. That could be telling here. Sharvey's next target then will be Dixon in the Haas. 1.8 seconds back, and then can they catch Bowles then for the race victory? That'll be a famous win here if Sharvey can do it, as JB Bowie gets a 3-second time penalty. Melios and Pimis are dueling away once again, and look at Jay Luke as well, just ready and waiting. Pimis got a compromised exit out of Village, and that's put them on the back foot. Jay Luke is right on their tail now. We'll have to go the long way around the outside of Brooklyn. Pimis is not giving this one up. Now through Luffield they go, and Pimis, for the time being, has got ahead, or have they? Because Luke is now coming through Luffield and into Woodkitch we go, and now it's Jay Luke with the advantage down the inside into the old pit straight and into Copse Corner. The inside line goes to them, and Jay Luke is up and into 7th place. Good recovery after a messy qualifying for them. They are moving up positions very nicely on those soft compound tyres. Now they've got Melios in their sights as well. Squidly Dinley. Now it's got Leppy for 4th and 5th. As J. Luke gets very quickly ahead of Melios. That didn't take long at all for the AlphaTauri driver. And we've got a virtual safety car. And what have we got a virtual safety car for? Is that for anyone? Oh, that's for JB Bowie, who's got no front wing. Also Brooklyn into the pits as well as a number of drivers. Kidd is in again. So is Jay Hartnell. This is interesting. This is a virtual safety car, not a full safety car. Let's see. Is this wing damage? Maybe. Don't think it is, actually. Not for the Ferrari. JB Bowie certainly will have it. Kidd, have they got damage? Brooklyn. No, this is all strategic for a lot of them. You don't really want to be making too many pit stops in in Silverstone, purely because of how long it is, even with the virtual safety car. You don't want to be making any more than one, ideally. But they're trying something else. Jay Hartnell is the problem, though, for Jay Hartnell is they now need a safety car to come in, to be brought in. Because Jay Hartnell, you can see there's 25 seconds back from 11th place, so as we get under racing, and Jay Hartnell almost losing the back end there. Poor Jay Hartnell, their race has really gone backwards, hasn't it? Let's be honest, as Kidd has got ahead of Jay Hartnell. So Jay Hartnell's day goes from bad to worse, really. Yeah, I wouldn't have really pitted there, to be honest. I understand why they might have done it. I suppose they got nothing to lose, have they? As look at that, that's Melios back up the inside of J. Luke. J. Luke's going to fight this one straight back, though. They've got the inside line for the Vale chicane, and back into 6th place they go. A little heart-in-mouth moment for the AlphaTauri, but they're able to stay ahead. Xavi's now within DRS range, or just almost within DRS range of Dixon as well. Worth mentioning as well, Xavi's carrying a 3-second time penalty and just almost lost the back end on the exit of Village there. A 3-second time penalty could come back to haunt them later on, as we've seen. As look at this, this is J. Luke and Melios. You saw that J. Luke just weaving along to try and break the toe. You're not allowed to excessively weave. You are allowed a couple of moves, but no more than a couple. So you've got to be careful on it. J. Luke, all sorts of problems. These two could be in a back and forth match between themselves. This could be one to watch as well. But Melios picks a 3-second time penalty for going wide in Copse Corner. Now with DRS, Link Speed gets a 3-second penalty as well. Is Xavi able to make a move here? You can see him closing. He's going to run out of space. As a result, Melios is, though, able to get straight back ahead of J. Luke for 6th place. So places swapping between them. And look at the Mercedes here, almost pushing the Haas driver along. Xavi making a really good recovery at the moment, up into the podium places after starting in 15th. But wants 2nd and potentially wants the lead of the race later on. We'll see whether they can get it or not. As the Mercedes will line the Haas up then. DRS will be enabled. Dixon, you can see, is already using the ERS. And you can see Dixon trying to break the toe slightly. Not as many moves as J. Luke did, but still all fine. I was curious to see actually J. Luke and Melios, but they're all close to each other. No one making a move just yet, and Xavi once again closes in, but not close enough just yet. Now through Maggots and Beckett's, I think Xavi's smartly there, backs out of it, realises going through there. Oh, almost the overspeed, they almost ran into Dixon, but I think this is still a good exit here. I don't think Dixon can do much about it. You can see the flashing red light there. They've used up their ERS. And Xavi with a very easy pass here up into 2nd place for the Mercedes driver, and that is that then for them. And these two continuing to swap places. J-Luke back up into 6th place ahead of Melios once again. Great battle between those two as that's going on. Oh, as Squidly Diddly runs over the curb there into Club Corner. Very lucky there. That could have been race ending. Squidly Diddly gets very lucky there. Pimis doesn't. They get a 3-second time penalty. Dex is on the back of Pimis as well. We'll have a look at that. But I want to watch this. This is Dixon. Might be able to come back on the Mercedes again. We got a yellow flag for one of the Aston Martins, and that's that's Leppy, apologies. And that's a shame for them. At one point they were running in the podium places. Sadly they're now down in 10th place, and there goes Ilinx Peace on them. So that's a shame for them. So that's one easy pass then for Squidly Diddly. They're up into 4th place now. Melios is still keeping J-Luke on their toes. Jay Hartnell picks up another 3-second time penalty. Everyone from 9th down to 15th has got at least a penalty of some kind. Here we go again. I think they're a little too far back this time. Is Melios to make a pass just yet. Let's watch the battle down towards the back here. This is Jay Hartnell and Kidd dueling away for 12th and 13th. Brooklyn behind as well, dueling with JB Bowie for what is effectively 14th and 15th. I don't want to call it last and last but one. It is that, but I don't think that's fair to call it that. As look at the speed of the AlphaTauri, blast past Jay Hartnell there, up into 12th place. Jay Hartnell's not giving this one up though, and this may be for 12th and 13th, but they're giving it everything, aren't they? There goes Bowie on Brooklyn for 14th place. Doesn't matter where in the field we're watching. There's good battles going across everywhere at the moment. Jay Hartnell once again is after Kidd. They're going to go down the inside into Abbey. That's a super move there as Jay Hartnell make that stick as they enter into there as well. Round the outside goes Kidd. But the problem is, as we've got a yellow flag, I think that's for Brooklyn. Just lost a lot of time there. I think they might have had a spin somewhere. That's actually also really smart there by Kidd, because they still kept the DRS as well on Jay Hartnell. That's why they made the move there. And the gaps have started to close down. At the moment, that's Brooklyn again at through Village. There's another little spin there. I'm waiting to say, I was waiting to see an overtake from Brooklyn into Brooklyn Corner so I could finally say the line, but I can't, unfortunately. We haven't seen it just yet. As Xavi with another 3-second time penalty. Got to be careful with those penalties. They've got 11 seconds worth, so nobody, at the moment they're going to be booted off the podium regardless. So this recovery drive is really going to hurt them, is going to backfire. And I think it's started to calm down now. This is actually the closest battle on the grid at the moment. For 12th and 13th, Kidd and Jay Hartnell. Kidd back into this race following the safety car, bringing them back in to contention. But I think it has all started to calm down now. Xavi not really making much of an impression on Bowles as well. Gap 5.2 seconds. But even then, if they caught and passed, they've got 11 seconds worth of penalties to apply after the race. And as it stands at the moment, with 11 seconds worth, they won't be on the podium. That's all really, which is a shame, because it's been such a solid drive, but time penalties are a thing they've got to watch for. Let's go through all the penalties actually. Got 6 seconds for Squidly Diddly, 9 seconds for Melios, make that now 9 for Squiddly Diddly as well. They just picked up another one. You've got Pinnis, Dex, Ilix Peace with 3, Leppy with 8, Twisted Symmetry 3, Kid 6, Jay Hartnell in with 3, as is JB Bowie, and Brooklyn's got 6 as well. And so far, it's only J. Luke, Dixon and Bells with no penalties. So far, we'll see if that lasts for the final 4 laps of this race. It's been a pretty intense race so far. Jay Hartnell's right on the back of Kid once again. Now we'll have DRS enabled. Squiddly Diddly's also caught the back of Dixon as well. We'll go on them in a second. So far, Jay Hartnell not able to make a move though. Squiddly Diddly though is after Dixon. Needs to get past early though, because Diddly's got penalties. Dixon doesn't. So this has got to, if Diddly wants to make this work, they've got to pass Dixon early and then try and build up as much of a gap as possible. You saw there they've got 9 seconds worth of penalties, so I don't think with the laps we've got left, I don't think Diddly will be able to catch Dixon and then gain 9 seconds worth on the Haas driver to keep hold of that 3rd place. But I wonder if those soft tyres are beginning to go now. All those who had to pit on around lap 11 or 12 under that safety car. Wonder if that's a bit too much. JB Bowie out in Brooklyn. No, it's not Brooklyn. That's the Chapel Corner, sorry. Chapel Corner, out goes JB Bowie. Don't think that's a safety car. There goes Squiddly Diddly on Dixon. Dixon's going to continue to fight this. I think Dixon might probably wish they didn't, but they're still ahead for the time being. But you can see the overspeed of the McLaren, and Squiddly Diddly is ahead and up into the podium places. But remember, of course, with 9 seconds worth of penalties, they'll drop back behind the house anyways. Leppy gets another 3-second time penalty as well. Jay Hartnell ahead of Twisted Symmetry for 12th place. Might be a defence more than attack here. Dixon with DRS now. You can see Diddley's got no ERS, neither has Dixon, really, to be fair. Down the inside goes Dixon, and back through goes the Haas driver, but Squiddly Diddly trying to come back through as well with a little switchback move. Not able to make it stick, unfortunately. Primus is catching Melios as well for 6th place. As Leppy's also catching Ilix Peace for 9th as well. Ilix Peace is right behind Dex as well. So in terms of the championship for those two, the damage is mitigated unless Ilix Peace in the last 2 laps catch and pass Dex. Potentially, we'll see. Squiddly Diddly is not really benefiting from this battle with Dixon, but I think with the overspeed here goes the McLaren. Back into Brooklyn's they go. Dixon really doesn't want to be fighting Squiddly Diddly for too long, because remember, Charvy with those 11 seconds worth of penalties, got to be cautious. If they lose too much time fighting each other, Dixon could lose out on a possible 2nd place, as Squiddly Diddly picks up another 3-second time penalty. They really are struggling at the moment, and is Dixon to try and make a move through the Mags and Beckett's? No, the answer is no. I think a slightly awkward exit for the McLaren there. I think that's going to put him on the back foot. I think Dixon once again is going to go for it here. Going to go for the inside line here. Look at J. Luke as well. J. Luke is caught right up to both of them as well. Round the outside goes the McLaren of Diddley. They're trying to try and hold it round the inside. Dixon's going to fight this one round the outside as well, and into the Vale chicane. The Haas comes out on top once again. Dixon holding on to 3rd place. I think they just want to win 3rd place without the penalties anyways. But the problem though is now they've got 10 seconds. The gap is increased massively here. This is playing right into the hands of Charvy at the moment. Charvy, remember, has got 11 seconds worth on as we enter the final lap of this race. If Dixon loses 0.8 of a second, Charvy actually holds on to 2nd place. That would be horrific for them. As here we go again, DRS enabled. There goes Squiddly Diddly down the inside. of Brooklyn's, and once again it's an easy pass for the McLaren here. And we haven't really seen much of Bowles at the moment, because Bowles has been absolutely unstoppable at the moment. Keep your eye on that gap though between Squiddly Diddly and Xavi, because those two by fighting might have just cost themselves second place here. Because Xavi has absolutely seen an opportunity, those lot scrapping with each other. And I must say, Dixon's, I think, made that happen unnecessarily, in my opinion. But either way, J-Luke's right on them as well. Meanwhile, Bowles, though, it's been absolutely controlled for them. They've led every lap of this Grand Prix in dominant fashion. No challenges whatsoever. Bowles then, in the Alpine, comes across the line and wins the British Grand Prix. What a performance by them, as Squiddly Diddly loses positions actually to Dixon as well. Xavi comes home in second place, and Dixon, I think, is going to lose out. This is going to be nip and tuck here. Look at the gap, it's got to be under 11 seconds. Has Dixon lost out? Yes, they have, by 3/100ths of a second. They fought too hard, and Dixon, in doing so, just lost second place. They've thrown it, and Dixon has choked away second place as a result of an unnecessary fight with Squiddly. J-Luke finishes in 4th, Pimis in 5th place, Squiddly Diddly in 6th, Dex in 7th, Eiling's Peace actually crashes out in the final quarter, finishes in 8th, just behind their championship rival. Melios in 9th, ahead of Leppy in 10th, Jay Hartnell in 11th, Kid in 12th, Twisted Symmetry will finish in 13th, and Brooklyn will finish in 14th place. But Bowles was a dominant performance by the Alpine driver. Xavi, I think, will be very happy with that second place. We fought with that 11 seconds worth of penalties. That wouldn't work for them, but thankfully Dixon and Squiddly Diddly focused too much on each other, and in doing so they allowed the Mercedes to get away with second place, really. Dixon, I wonder how frustrated they'll be just missing out on that second place as a result. Will they wish they would have just let Will they have wished they let the McLaren go and not fight them too hard? We don't know. Easy said and done in hindsight. As Brooklyn doing donuts at the Vale chicane there. We'll come across to finish the race then. But what a performance then by Bowles, your race winner. Like I mentioned, absolutely in control for this race. Oh, the donuts weren't purposeful. Ah, okay. Apologies. Bowles then, celebrating another race victory. Number of drivers will be feeling very happy with the result. Some drivers won't be. Be a lot of questions asked as a result. But well done though to Bowles for another commanding performance as a reserve driver. No real threats behind. Here's the standings. Here's the race results then. Bowles from first, followed by Xavi from 15th to second. Great recovery then. Dixon in third. J-Luke from 14th to 4th. Head of Pimis, Squiddly Diddly, Dex in the Haas. Ironix Peace in 8th. Milios in 9th and Leppy in 10th. Jay Hartnell in 11th. Kid got the fastest lap in 12th place. Then we've got Twisted Symmetry in 13th. Brooklyn in 14th, the final of the runners. And we lost from this race JB, Bowie, Haytham and Cookie earlier on in the McLaren. And that is it then. We've reached the halfway point of this race. Or sorry, halfway point of this season. If I can get my words out properly, that would help. As I'm trying to find where the next race is. We've obviously got 7 races left to go in this halfway point. Next race then is in Australia. We look forward to seeing you all there for next week's round of Monday Night Madness. But thank you all again for watching. It's been a pleasure as always to commentate. Congratulations, Bowles, for the race victory. And as always, we will see you next time around. Thank you all so much for watching and take care.